Well, our theme this month has been paying forward, giving back, meaning, first of all, that I believe that there is a unity in life. There is a oneness in life. The measure that we measure out is measured back to us. What we give, we get back. Our topic this morning is entitled, Go Forth and Multiply. And of course, this comes from the chapter of Genesis, the very first chapter in Genesis, where God is creating everything. And as he has created the winged creatures and the animals on the earth and the creatures in the sea, he has looked at them all and known that it is good. They are all good. He gives them a blessing. He blesses them all. And then he says, go forth and multiply. And in my thinking, what I think this is talking about is the fact that God made everything, satisfied with it completely, and it is good, and it is blessed. That is of an utmost valuable, important lesson for us to always, always remember. That I am loved, I am good, and I am blessed. And when we naturally know that within us, that's what we will measure with, that's what we will give with, that's what we will extend outward. But then, in this experience we have in life, I don't know if it came from the 60s or the 70s, somewhere in there was that expression that was coming forth that said, God, don't make no junk. I'm not sure exactly what the origination of that was, but God, don't make no junk. And I think that that's an important thing to realize, because so many of us, time and time again, this human psyche that we have doesn't want to believe that. It wants to listen to this ego that is separate, that wants us to compete, that thinks that we have to claw and scrape and do what has to be done in competition-wise in order to rise ourselves above everyone else. And it is just not the way nature was intended. Nature intended all of us to be what we are, unique, that we are to look at ourselves and others with right judgment. In the Sermon on the Mount, Christ told us, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust nor doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break nor steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. When we are single, when we are focused on the truth, that there is this one power and presence that is absolute goodness. If it is everything, then that's what I am, and that's what you are, regardless of how I think you're acting inappropriately. If we can get to that unity, that union, that we all come from this one perfect, beautiful source, and let our eye stay focused on that light. What a lesson we have to know this is the truth of all of us. I think it takes practice. I think it takes intention for us to remember this truth, because we get so caught up in all the drama that life wants to give us. And we even can turn on the TV and have a myriad of opportunity to fall into all these other people's dramas that are coming across the screen. I don't know about you, but for me, I just as soon Just stay in the one I have, you know. I want us to remember that one of the first lessons in life is to be kind to ourselves, to give ourselves a break, to pay attention to what our heart is telling us. It's a still small voice. It's not an overpowering one. But I know that all of us are familiar with that language. And we know when something is going awry. We have that gut feeling, I'm not sure about this. Stop and listen to it. It's giving you that guidance system that you need at that moment in time. I was talking to a friend yesterday. She asked me we made an appointment to call at a certain time. She said, I have something I want to run by you. And I said, okay, that's fine. So she proceeded to share with me, you know, all the drama that was going on in the situation with her. And the bottom line is that she's just thinking about selling her condo that she's been in for 20 years. And, but this and that and the other thing. Should she, shouldn't she? You know, she's in a quandary. I don't know what to do. And there's other elements involved and so on. And as I listened, I just listened and heard her say, well, you know, the condo is known. You know, I'm comfortable here. If I move, that's an unknown. I'm not sure where I'm going, you know, how that's going to be. And I reminded her, which she obviously totally knows, to just go within and listen to your heart. Ask, what is it do I really want? What do I want? Don't be trying to live your life by what somebody else says you should do. What do you want to do? How do you want to feel? Whether you're living in this condo or someplace else, what are the qualities that you want to experience? Make a list. Put it down on paper. Be specific. And it'll come to you which way to go. Listen to your heart. I told her being comfortable in the known is not what life is about. Life is about evolution, about change, about bringing forth newness. And if you're ready for it, it's ready for you. Be up for it. Know, trust your gut of what way to do it. And step out, and life will support you in it. Well, she later emailed me back. She thanked me for the kindness that I gave her of the time, and then this is what she said. When we finished, I went into meditation, and I heard a loud and clear, move in August. Yes, thank you for pushing me out of my rut. I have been very comfortable here, as well as complacent. We are on our way to a new and better life. I have plenty of funds to fix up this place and have it ready to go. We will find a great new place to live, perfect in every way. We are rowing the boat downstream and having fun doing it. She went within. She listened. She heard the loud move in August. Have any of you had those loud promptings? I know I have. Yeah, I have. Absolutely, totally. And I know I've told you this one, but it was such a shock to me when I was praying because I needed to find another job. This was 25 years ago. And I was praying, what would you have me do? What, you know, God, tell me what's the next step. And that one word came out loud and clear, serve. And I went, I can't be a waitress. Lefty doesn't work very well. I can't serve food. What are you talking about? That was a long time ago. I have done a lot of growing and recognizing since then. But I heard it. I mean, it was loud, totally. And so we will hear what we need to hear when we ask and are receptive. I want to share with you something that happened to me this week, because I want us to remember, again, to be kind to ourselves, no matter what. There's a little routine that we've been doing for many years now at the church. I make up the program, and I go and copy it. And then Ann comes over, and she collates it, puts it all together for us for Sunday. We've been doing this routine many times. On a Thursday, I'll have it ready for her because she comes over on Friday after she gets her hair done, and she does it on Fridays. Well, this last week, as I was there making the copies, I realized I made a mistake on one of the sheets. And so I thought, oh, I can't copy this. It's wrong. I got to fix it. I have time. I can fix it. So I went home, and I thought, okay, Friday morning, I'm going to make sure I get up early enough time to where I've got time to run back over to the church and make the copies and before I head down the hill to work, to insurance job. I had everything time-wise. It was perfect. I get over here to the office ready to make the copy, and I went, I didn't make the correction. I didn't change it on my computer and print another paper out. What I have in my hand is what I had on Thursday that I made a big circle around. I can't copy this. I'm not ready. Like, really, Gay? Really? I mean, I was like, really? Beginning to wonder about you. Anyway, like, fine. So I called Ann and said, Ann, they're not going to be ready. We'll have to do it Saturday. She said, okay, fine, that's Saturday. You let me know when they'll be ready. So Saturday comes, I'm doing a little other stuff. I call her, I said, my intention is to be over there at noon. So, of course, one thing led to the other. And, on Saturdays you're doing this and that and the other thing. And I pull up to the office, and because Ann said, I'll come later. If you're going to be there by noon, I'll come later in the afternoon. So I'm arriving at 1 o'clock, and Ann's car is parked out here. And I went, oh, shoot, she beat me here. Eeks. So I go up, and I go into the door's open, I walk into the office, and there's a woman standing in the middle of the room with sunglasses on and a name tag that was turned over. And Ann said, oh, let me introduce you. This is our Reverend Gay. And she extended her hand, and she said, oh, let me introduce myself to you. I am Dorothy Wesley. And I went, I know you. And we hugged each other. I said, you got your sunglasses on. Hugged each other. Dorothy Wesley is the woman that we hired, the attorney that we hired when we moved into our other location in 2013. And she worked with us through that 25-page lease that we had to muddle through and so forth. She, at this point, has now retired. She's written 2 books. She's doing all. We had an amazing time of just kibitzing, of just catching up on what's going on in your life, what's going on in my life. And Ann, I know Ann's sitting there going, oh my gosh. Now, that was a divine appointment. Do you realize how many things had to go wrong? How many mistakes had to be made for she and I to meet face to face at that moment in time? You think about it. That had to be a divine appointment. And I was telling her about my book that I've written and all this and that, and she made a little comment about this and so forth. And I mean, it was a wonderful meeting, and I thought, wow, thank you, God. Here I was beating myself up because I had screwed up, and when in all actuality, there were unseen forces that were working with and for me to be there just at that time. So remember that. There are things going on in your life that you might not have any knowledge of whatsoever. If you make a goof, look for the silver lining in it somewhere. You might not be able to see it immediately, but it doesn't behoove you to beat yourself up over it either. How could I have done this wrong? Allow yourself to know that, well, there's a good reason for it. This whole topic of giving is important because that's our nature. That's what we're made from. That's what we are hardwired for, is to give. That's what the nature of God is total givingness. That's what we are. We are God giving an expression. So know your self-worth and give from that fullness, from that single eye, from that light. I was talking to a friend, and this was a few years ago now, but it stayed with me. We were talking about how other people in your life, they'll do things, or, it's kind of frustrating, or you want to get in there and, help them out somehow. And she said to me, I think it's really important that we all learn to stay in our own lane. When we're driving, we're staying in our own lane and we're all moving at rapid paces, but everything goes smoothly when we stay in our own lane. It's when we decide that we're going to switch over real quickly to somebody else's lane that catastrophes happen. So she's talking about staying in your own lane, and I thought that makes sense. I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm not going to, worry about what everybody else is doing in their lane. It's my lane. I've been listening to Reverend Dr. Jeanette Freeman's promptings that she's got on the websites that she's given on the internet. She talks about, and she shared this with us when we had our workshop with her here. She talks about that there's this golden light that comes down from the top and goes down through your head and down out your torso into the earth, grounding you. But this is a beautiful stream of golden light, and she calls it your line. It's your line. It's on the back side of your spine, like on the front of your spine. It goes straight through you. And she recommends that whenever you're questioning, whenever you have any issue, remember to get back in your line, to get back in your light, to stay in your lane, however you want to say it. That reminds you that I am enough. That what I have and who I am and what my life is about is perfect. Because God made me that way. And when I am in tune with that, if I remember to stay in that line, to stay in that lane, then I can hear the promptings of my heart. I'm open and receptive to it much more than if I'm off willy-nilly somewhere. I honestly believe that life is one. This oneness is all. And yes, we all are unique in our own perfect individual way. How great is that? There is no duplicity. It's all individual, and it's great. I want to remind you what my friend said, my wise friend, in her note to me. She said, "We are rowing the boat downstream and having fun doing it." We are rowing the boat means we're doing something. We're not just sitting back and wondering, where is life going to take me now? I'm in the flow, but I wonder where the river's going to go. We're rowing the boat. We are here to do our part, to give direction and guidance to this individual self that we are. That's part of it. That's a big part of it. You are to be kind to yourself. You are to love yourself. When you do that, that's what you will give out. And finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. It's easy because you are love and you are loved. I love you. Namaste.